Now, my next guest's life was blown apart at the age of 17 when she found out her dad wasn't her biological father. After years of unanswered questions, Mel finally uncovered the truth with the help of the TV show DNA Family Secrets. Here's a clip of Mel with her mum. Let's have a look.
She was really devastated, and of course I was upset because I'd hurt her. Oh, yes.
After my parents divorced, I think it was hard for my mum to tell me. But I'm so glad she did.
I didn't ask much about the donor's sperm because doctors were like gods then. You never questioned them. You just did what they told you.
So I'm just hoping that we'll get some answers and it'll just make everything all right. I just need to know. Who's my sperm donor father?
And Mel joins me now alongside Professor Turi King from DNA Family Secrets, the TV show you just saw there. So Mel, take me back to, because you obviously must have been on an emotional roller coaster. So take me back to when you were 17, because that's when you found out, wasn't it? So what happened?
My mum just thought I had the right to know. You know, I was nearly an adult and didn't want any secrets anymore.
Yeah. So what did she say to you?
She basically said, your dad's not your dad. We went to a sperm bank. And I was just absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah. And then what did you do on knowing that information?
There was not a lot I could do because we didn't have any information. The clinic wasn't there. The guy had died. So I just sort of put it to bed and just always wondered.
Yeah. And I guess there must have been times after that where you just were like, oh, sitting thinking, wonder where my genetics are from or whatever.
Yeah, just always wanted to know.
Yeah. And so then how did it come about that you ended up doing the TV show?
So my brother decided to buy me and my mum a DNA kit for Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I think they were on 3 for 2 or something. And he needed a last minute present because it was so random, because he had no interest.
Yeah.
Because the clinic said that we were from the same donor.
Yeah.
Anyway, surprise, surprise, we weren't.
So you found out from doing this DNA test that you then weren't the same
donor dads.
even though your mum thought that they were the same
the clinic
donor.
promised that we would be from the same donor and just lied. So, yeah, we were absolutely gobsmacked again.
Yeah.
And then I watched the first series and there was a girl on there that had, she was from a sperm bank and there was a donor conceived register that you could go on. So went on, registered, and then I got an email from DNA Family Secrets from Minnow saying, would you like to be on the show? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a lot of your own kind of personal story, isn't it? To suddenly
and it had been put in a box sort of for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, I'll fill the form in, nothing to lose, and then here we are.
Yeah. And so, Turi, when someone like Mel gets in touch with the show, what happens next?
So the first thing we do is we get them to take a DNA test, and we do that with a couple of companies. And then what we can do is we can download their raw data and upload it to a number of other databases. And what we're looking for is DNA matches. So people who share chunks of DNA with you. And we were really lucky with Mel because we had her cousin was on one database and her dad's cousin was on the other database. And from that, we could kind of go, okay, so let's triangulate these. She must be descended from where these two families meet. And that gave us 3 brothers to kind of look at. 1 we could tell couldn't be her dad. 2 could be. 1 we found out he hadn't donated sperm. And then that led us to Gerald, her biological father.
Gosh, so what was it like for you, Mel, finding out that information, and for your mum as well?
Amazing. I mean, it's been a total emotional roller coaster from start to finish. And I'm not a crier. And every time they came to film, I was like, because it was just, I'd just sort of put it to bed, and then it just opened up this box of emotions. But perfect, yeah.
So then what happens when you find out this information? What did you do with it?
Well, then it turns out that I had a half brother. And he could fill in the blanks. So sadly, Gerald had died.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to meet Gerald, but I do get to meet his son, my brother.
And what did that feel like?
That was just incredible. So emotional, and there was just an instant connection.
Yeah. And your brother is not in this country, is he?
No, he's in Tasmania.
Yeah. And so have you had a chance to meet him yet?
Yeah, they flew him over to meet me.
And how did that feel when you physically met him?
Just bizarre, but just, there was just an instant bond.
Yeah.
It was, I can't explain, just so surreal.
Yeah, so you kind of felt that, like you were related from that bond?
Yeah, it was so weird, but incredible.
Yeah, and what's it like, Turi, when you know? Because I guess you can't predict what's going to happen when people meet.
No, I mean, and this is the thing. Mel's she's hugely courageous to do this because she's allowed national television to kind of join her on this journey, and it's so emotional. I mean, we were both in tears when I was giving her because it is, and you can see how people are. It's like an idea of who they are sort of shifting, I suppose, and where they fit in the world. And yeah, you don't know how it's going to go when you meet a half sibling, and it's turned out really well.
Yeah, it couldn't have turned out any better because, I had no idea what I was going to uncover.
Yeah, and what's it meant for your family then now? Is it kind of filled in the blanks and...
Yeah, just feel complete, really.
Yeah.
It was just that not knowing half of where I was from.
Yeah. And you saw him, when was it, in November you last saw him? Yeah. Well, we had a little word with him and said, can you send us a nice message from Mel? And he said, yeah, of course I will. So
bless him.
For you.
Oh.
The way that Mel has handled everything throughout the discovery and the way that she's responded to the interest in her story or our story is just absolutely incredible, and I'm so proud of her. I just couldn't be more proud of anybody who's waited 30 years to find out who their natural father is, and then to turn out to be such a gorgeous lady.
Oh, bless him.
No, it's like everyone's just trying to make you cry.
Yeah, I'm not crying again.
Can I ask you too, as well, just about, because there might be other people watching who might have been told something similar to Mel when they were young. What can you do about it?
So, donor conceived register, definitely first port of call, because they've been set up to do exactly this sort of thing, to help people find half siblings and to find their donor fathers. The other thing you can do, and this is really increasingly happening, is you can go and get these DNA tests done, and you can look for matches that don't seem to be from your mum's side in the case of a sperm donor.
Yeah.
And that is the thing with sperm donation now, is it's becoming harder and harder for sperm donors to remain anonymous. And it's quite an interesting thing because, I get contacted by people who say, I gave sperm many years ago, I didn't tell my family, and now I've been found. So this idea of anonymity now with these direct-to-consumer testing companies, it is kind of going out the window.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that. If you were someone who doesn't want to be found, can you stop it?
Not really, because it doesn't even have to be you on the databases. One of your relatives can be on the database, and you'll get the genetic match that links back to you. So it is becoming increasingly difficult, and the Human Fertility and Embryology Authority are now talking about making it that anonymity will no longer be the case. So if you're conceived post-2005, the donor knows that when the child reaches 18, so next year, you can find out about who your donor parent was. They're now talking about making it that the child doesn't have to be 18, that it can be lifted right from day one.
Isn't it interesting as well, Mel, that all of this came from, I know you knew when you were 17, but from getting this present from your brother of this DNA testing kit, I guess you have to be careful.
And I think, people need to realise the consequences of doing these DNA tests. That they might uncover stuff that they don't want to know.
Which for you was worked out brilliantly, hasn't it?
But I can see the other side of, people wanting to remain anonymous. I mean, I was never doing it because I wanted a dad. I've got a dad that I'm really happy with. I just needed to know something, anything, just a name, a picture, something.
And now
I would have been happy, and I am perfectly happy now.
Yeah, and you can see that. You're absolutely beaming. It's brilliant. Oh, well, Mel, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good luck with your reaction to the show as well.
Yes.
Are you watching it as a family? How's it working?
Yeah, watching it tonight,
yeah.
I'll do a lot of crying on it, so I'm a bit like, oh no!
If you're crying watching it and someone's filming you crying, watching you cry. Well, DNA Family Secrets is on BBC Two tonight at 9 o'clock and continues for the next 4 weeks. You can also, of course, catch up on the episodes on BBC iPlayer.